Hello and welcome back to Brick Gaming YGO. Today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on Eldlich Trickstar. So today I am going X-1 with this deck. Did pretty well overall, and I'm going to get just right straight into this deck profile. But before I do, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. It will help out the channel, it will help out me making more content, and it will also be pretty cool. So let's just get right into this. So I play a pretty standard ratio of Gold Lords, just 2. I think 3 is too much because it just can be a really big brick a lot of the time. But it's also really good, so I think at 2, that's the perfect number. Unfortunately, I don't have secrets. A little bit disappointing, but I think the gold still work out. Then I also play triple Candina. Candina is really nice in this deck. Just free searches, and it searches out the other Trickstar monsters, as well as Light Stage. And Light Stage is just a beast of a card. Next, I play triple Licorice. So I'm kind of, when I was thinking about this deck, I could play like, the whole Dragoon package, but I want to try out something a little bit different. Kind of go more with like a Trickstar burn package, and then also play the Eldlich stuff. And it did work out. I probably won't play again, because you just brick on Licorice sometimes, and that just is pretty lame. It's just a card you don't want to see. If you see like Candina or Light Stage, it can be pretty nice, but if you don't see those cards in tandem with Licorice, it's just really meh. So moving on to the hand traps, I play triple Ash Blossom, and I also play triple Ghost Spell. I just think these are the best, plus they're both zombies, and you can make synchros with them, so you can go into synchro 8s, so that's why I play, and it's just kind of nice to have them. So I think these are both really solid cards this format, and can make a pretty big impact depending on the matchup. Then moving on to the spells, I play triple Extravagance. Extravagance is really good, plus I don't have Paw Prosperity, unfortunately. But, the extra deck in this deck really doesn't matter that much, so Extravagance is still pretty good. Moving on, I play 1 Light Stage and 1 Terraforming. Both of these cards are really good. Light Stage, it can block out back row, it can basically prevent your opponent from really playing what they want to play or playing what they need at a particular time. So that's really nice, and then Terraforming just searches it out. Plus, if you already have Light Stage, you can draw into Terraforming. Golden Lord just gets rid of it. Moving on to the rest of the spells, I do play triple Cursed Outland. This is really nice to see going first. And unfortunately, I only saw this card one time going first today, so that was a little bit unfortunate, but if you do see it going first, it just is super good. Moving on to the other spells, I play 1 White Destiny and 1 Black Awakening. Black Awakening really doesn't come up that much. Came up once today where I actually activated the main effect, not the banish effect. So yeah, it's okay. It just usually just send it to the grave with Golden Lord effect. And then Elixir of White Destiny is pretty good. It's one of just because it's something from the deck, and it just doesn't have the same utility as the next card, which is Scarlet Sanguine, which summons from both deck and graveyard. So it's really nice utility. I only had the card ashed once today, so that was really strange. I was getting ashed on extravagances all day long, so that's fine by me, because that just means that my Scarlet Sanguines will be live. So that was really nice. Then for the other Eldlich cards I play triple Conquistador, just really good, super clutch all the time. Just really helped out with winning out matches, getting rid of stuff that monsters on the field. So it was really nice for that. And then also, of course, triple Hawk Hero, which did come up today just a bit. Honestly, Conquistador came up a little bit more often, but Hawk Hero made more of a difference in a duel, at least. It made more of a difference just with getting stuff out of the graveyard, and had more of a impact on the duel. So I was a little bit surprised by that, but Conquistador is still super good, and that card resolved way more often. So yeah, then moving on, I play triple Torrential Tribute. Just super good card, super solid all the way through. Just your opponent summons, they start building a board, and you say no. You say no, and this card just came up a lot. The one deck that I really didn't come up against was Salamangreat today, and that's, to be fair, understandable, because I went second both times, and they were just able to block and protect, but I got rid of one protection, so it's good in that respect. Then moving on, next card is Double Punishment. I see some people not playing this card. I think, again, for any deck that is like a control strategy, or is a deck that stuns, punishment is just so good, especially if you're not going to the extra deck very much. It just has such a high impact on the duel at times. It's kind of like Conquistador, but better in some ways and worse in some ways. It does target. Conquistador does not target, so there is that difference, but it's still super good and can get rid of some of your back row stuff by saying, or some of your opponent's back row stuff by saying Nittis. And then for final traps, I do play triple Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike is super nice. I don't main Solemn Judgment anymore. Well, not anymore, but not in this deck anyways. In this deck, I feel like it's really good to have a side deck, and if your opponent does blow away your back row, like, first turn, it's generally not with, like, you know, like, evenly matched or something like that, so, honestly, like, Solemn Judgment really doesn't matter so much in that type of situation, and as long as your stuff is going to the graveyard, it's still pretty nice. And then for a final card I play in the deck is Skill Drain. Skill Drain is really good. It doesn't really do much for the Trickstars. Like, if you see them both together, it's kind of like meh. But if you just draw into this card most times, it's just super, super good. Negates all your opponent's all monster effects on the field permanently as long as it's on the field. So it's just super nice for that respect. And so many decks have monster effects activate on the field. So I really didn't see myself playing out this card very often. So yeah, it just was super, super nice when I saw it, which I only really activated it once. But you know, still pretty good card. It came up. Then moving on to the extra deck, I play one Link Spider. Link Spider is just really good, sort of generic Link 1. You can just basically turn your traps into a Link Spider, and sometimes it matters, depending on like what type of situation you're in, or if you need different names. Just a really good card. And then the next card is IP Masquerena. IP did not come up once today, unfortunately. I wish it came up. It could have been pretty nuts having just IP out on the board and going to like Unicorn or Phoenix. But it just really didn't come up. But it's a card I'm going to leave in for now, because I feel like it might come up in the future. One Barricade Board Blocker. I chose this one over like another generic Link 2, like Lamphornicus or something like that. Because Barricade Board Blocker does protect field spells, so I could both protect my field spell in the respect to Trickstar Light Stage, but also I can get a field spell back from the graveyard, so if like Light Stage is in my grave, I could bounce it back during the end phase with Barricade Board. And then also, finally, it can discard a card out of my hand. So if I had a dead card in my hand that's better in the graveyard, it helps out in that respect. Then moving on to the other Link 2, I do play Triple Phoenix. The reason I went with 3, I know this is a little bit odd to play Triple Phoenix, is that number 1, Extravagance is a card. Number 2, Phoenix is one of the easiest cards to make in this deck. And number 3, there's a lot of back row in this format, so I feel like Phoenix just really is an answer for that and really helps out in that respect. So of course I play Triple just because of how good it is right now. And then finally for the Links, I play one Nightmare Unicorn. I don't play in Link 4s, you don't need them in my opinion. The only thing that would be nice maybe would be playing Access Code, but I just never had opportunity where Access Code was really good throughout the day. So I kind of felt like for Links, this was just a good standard setup in my opinion. Moving on, I do play Triple Nittis. Nittis did come up today, just super, super nice card. And on top of that, the extra pop, and also the reason I played 3 and not 2 is because of Extravagance, in case I banish 1 or 2 copies off. That way my punishment is still live. Then next I play double Gustav Max. Gustav Max was just really, really nice today. Just burn for 2k. Feels good every time I burn for 2k. Just really dwindles down your opponent's life points, and in time, this card can just be the difference between winning and losing. And then also I play one Sky Palace Gangori die. This card I made 0 times today. It's in there because it's removal, it's burn, and it's also a really big beat stick. Sure, can't attack in the same turn that burns, but if I just need a really big beat stick, I can make this guy, and then like if I have Eldlich, or not Eldlich Engraved, but like compare to Eldlich, like if I only have 2 2500 attack guys, this guy could become relevant at one point in a duel. And then moving on, finally the Synchros. I play 1 copy of Omega, because Omega lets you put stuff back into your deck, and you also can banish from your opponent's hand. Sure, you're never making any of your Synchros on the first turn, it's usually like mid or late game you're making them. But I feel like Omega is just still good, and if you need like something from your banish back in your graveyard, he's really good. Or if your opponent like banishes your Golden Lord, this guy can be really nice. And then finally, Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. This guy is just a big beat stick. he banishes stuff when your opponent activates a monster effect. You need to banish the monster. And then also, he gains attack and can attack again if he destroys a monster. So, yeah, pretty nuts card. Just good for damage. So, yeah, that's why he's staying in the extra deck. And those are the two that I think I really like right now. There are, of course, other Synchro 8s that are options. But I feel like those two are just really, really solid. And then, moving on to the side deck. I sided triple Nibiru. I sided Nibiru in once today. I didn't really play against combo today, unfortunately, which I feel like, this deck has maybe a good matchup depending on what the combo deck is. But I did side Nibiru, and it came in once today, and I did not draw it. Then I played triple Kaiju. Yeah, Dragoon's a problem. Dragoon's a problem for this deck. Like, if he gets above 3,000, like, if he gets more than that first negate, man, it's going to be a struggle to get rid of Dragoons. That's why I threw in Gamma Seal. Gamma Seal is just an answer. Just a really easy answer. Just throw them down. Boom. Dragoon is over. Next is Willy Bell. So, this was an interesting idea. So, I realized that there was a high potential for me to go into time today, both with the decks I'm playing and with the decks that people generally play at my locals. And I realized, I'm playing the Trickstar package, there was a high potential I could go into time. So, I threw in Willy Bell into the side deck. And the reason being is that if I go second during the final game, there's only a couple minutes left. My opponent does their thing. I can summon down. I can basically search out Willy Bell, summon it down, get him for a quick 800 or 1,000 damage, and just end up winning just because of that damage. And then, yeah, basically just end out a game that way. There's also, of course, potential for Trickstar Burn to win a game, but it was just another option just in case. And also, it's another body, so in case I need another body for my deck, I could just basically summon her down and go into Link plays. Then I play one copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. So at one point I did have Cosmic Cyclones in my side deck, but I've cut them to because I didn't really feel like they were super high impact as much of other cards that basically do very similar things. But now in retrospect, I wish I had played Cosmic Cyclone. I kind of missed that card today. So, in the future, I will be throwing Cosmic Cyclone back in. That's the big thing I would change. I would probably even main deck it, especially if I were cut out a lot of the Trickstar stuff, which I'm highly considering. So, yeah, I think Cosmic would be a solid option, but Harpy is also just super amazing. Drew into it once, and drew into it during a duel that I thought was going to be a back row matchup, but my opponent just out all their back row against me. So, yeah, unfortunately, that didn't really do anything. Then I play triple Evenly match. Evenly is just really good at this format. The only thing that really gets around at this format is of course Dragon Link if they put up a bunch of negates, and the only other deck maybe Pendulum or something along those lines. But otherwise, Evenly match is super good. Oh, and Dinosaur. Dinosaurs can definitely get around evenly. But every single other matchup, Evenly is just super high impact and can win you a duel or force out your opponent's cards, negations, whatever. Evenly just wins games. Then, triple Solemn Judgment. Solemn Judgment, just super solid card this format. Really good in the side deck. Plus, everyone's going to just sign a bunch of back row removal against me, playing this deck. So I might as well have the answer. Might as well have the negate. And then, of course, the Golden Land Forever. I don't